Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back.
Another Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
You know what that means? Another episode of the Producer's Lounge. That's what this is. Brought to you, of course, by Always 400. Go to always400.com for all your updates. And, yeah, we're back again with our wonderful guest, MiMi XX.
Yo.
Welcome back, brother.
Thanks for having me. It's good to kick it with you guys always.
Yeah. I would ask you to introduce yourself, but everybody here knows. And if you don't,
Yeah. You fucking up.
You're an OG at this point. Yeah.
I think you might be the most featured guest. I don't know.
Oh, easy.
I'd have to
You
crunch.
probably have the title. At
I'd
the
have to
moment.
crunch the
Yeah.
numbers, but
I think I'm in like 4 to 6 for sure.
it's you or Poon.
Yeah, I know
'Cause-
Poon was flexing hard when he was living with you guys.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But a lot of those were test episodes.
Who would ever thought we'd hear those words?
I
Poon
know.
flex.
A lot of those were test episodes. Well, folks, welcome back. This is, of course, the podcast show program where we dive deep into electronic music production and all its fun inner workings, and we nerd talk about it. And, of course, as always, we have a giant stack.
Yeah.
You can't see it behind me, but it is huge. Huge. And, yeah, we're going to dive right in. If you guys have questions, go ahead and put those in chat, and we'll get to them.
Oh, yeah.
That's how we do it.
Chat's already starting to blow up, so get those
Damn,
questions in.
Look at that chat
before
rolling
it just
in.
gets covered.
Rolling in. Well, anybody got anything to start us off? Did anybody break a compressor in a fun way or anything interesting?
I definitely got something. I want to talk about your guys' newest release on Always 400.
Oh.
I want to talk about the newest Always 400 release.
We do have a release.
Yeah.
That's true. Nice little plug.
I know,
Thanks,
right?
thanks
So
for the
smooth.
shameless plug. Yeah, we released a mix with some homies known as Party B.
Some good homies.
Yeah, some good homies. They make some good house beats, and
Yeah.
it's only on Audius. You can go check them out at Party B. I think it's at Party B Official on Audius. That's Party with an I. Think like Cardi B, but it's a party.
Way more fun.
Yep.
I'm glad you said that because it was the D and the I. But you said
I
you
get-
said Cardi B. When you said Party
I
B.
think. Oh, well.
You,
yeah,
you,
just
you,
Cardi-
you clarified
Cardi.
it. You clarified
Yeah,
it.
it's
I shouldn't
fine.
have discussed
Y'all
it.
know.
But again, I haven't seen you guys in a while. Congratulations.
Thanks.
First of all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a good release.
We know people.
We're stoked about it.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
wanted to put it out for a while. They were really stoked about it, so
yeah,
we
they've-
obliged.
They've been working at it, you know.
Yeah.
They kept bugging you guys about it. They're like, please, is it good enough
Man,
now?
and
Like,
if people knew the shit they have on hand
Oh.
that they're going for the
Yeah.
next mix, or anybody who ends up picking them up to play shows is gonna be lucky.
was it like Gangsta Bitches in Space,
No,
Volume 9?
no.
Yeah, it is.
I think what they're gonna
I mean,
do.
we'll have to talk to them.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think they're gonna do?
Well, they told me, but I don't want to give it away
Oh, that's fair. That's
because
fair.
it's
Yeah, we
it's-
shouldn't. We
it's
shouldn't.
2 words
Let's let them have that.
that they
yeah, they could tell them.
they coined their genre, and I don't want to like give it away on the internet right now.
Oh.
So it's like a new house style, and I don't want to give it away.
Oh,
You know,
shit.
I'll tell you after the pod.
Let's
I'll
go.
tell you.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So yeah, we released that. That's fun. It's a 100% original mix.
Why? Congratulations. Why Audius?
'Cause fuck SoundCloud.
Oh,
That's why.
You trying to get some of that
nah,
coin?
I mean, you
Well,
can
sure.
get that coin.
That'd be cool. But
That is like a really good question. Here's a theory that you can use, people. If you want to maximize your numbers in one singular place, don't release it anywhere else.
it's an interesting thing.
It's the
Yeah.
only place that it is, so that's the only place it can get viewed. So you'll see every single view.
Yeah.
It's true.
It might not get seen as many times.
Right.
But
That's
it's not,
the give and take.
But it's also not really meant. In this particular case, what they wanted to do is it wasn't necessarily for like numbers. It's not like it's a mix, you know. They're not trying to release the next banger.
Oh no, music's fire though. You know how that like
Sure, but it's also a utilitarian choice to put it on there for just sharing it, so that anybody who's like, oh, we want to book you. Do you have anything anywhere? It's just one link. Just boom. Here's 30 minutes of current shit. It's just it's an easy one-stop shop. They don't have to worry about doing anything different. It opens in a browser. It opens up in the app. You know, it's really seamless.
They're not really trying to release.
And it has
keeping
less,
it underground.
It's not gonna have ads on it.
which is nice. We were talking about it earlier.
Yeah, like-
SoundCloud ads, like they're just so true.
Right. It's just a
Intrusive.
smooth. It's just a better experience if a promoter wants to look at their music just to go to Audius, I think.
And I think like Audius too. Again, like Audius too. It seems like the people that know about it are more tethered in, whereas like SoundCloud's for sure super saturated with.
Yeah. And like a lot of people talk about SoundCloud, like, well, you know, SoundCloud's like the one place where a lot of people like get music for their shows, like in terms of like DJs and shit like that. But they're not putting it on there to get downloaded. It's a mix. It's like a,
Right.
you know, it falls under the pretense of like what they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
Plus, audio's just way cooler anyway. And it's the future
It's
of
purple.
streaming.
purple
And it's going to be sick.
beats orange every time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for real, congratulations, guys. That's
Yeah.
just dope.
All right.
Hell yeah.
It's hard to make 30 minutes of music.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of music. That is a lot of music.
Yeah, we are proud of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a great job.
Yeah, they did. Well,
Awesome stuff.
that's the show, folks.
That's the show. See you next year.
Yeah, if you want to know what we're talking about, just go to always400.com.
That's true. It's the first thing.
Right on the middle of the homepage.
Here, let me help you guys.
Link it up. Link it up.
I almost said always 4,500. That's incorrect. Don't worry, the link's safe. I promise, because I wrote it.
He wrote-
I feel like you made it
Facts.
sketchier by
literally
even talking
wrote
about
it.
it. Being safe.
All right. Do not worry, guys. Click this link. Just click it, okay?
I swear there's no Trojan there. Well, awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, we need something discussable here.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
There's
chat.
like quite a few people in chat.
Yeah, there's-
somebody ask a production question.
There's
here.
at least
Worried
35 of you in here.
Yeah.
So,
about what is driving you nuts.
yeah, what's a fun thing? I mean, I was fucking with percussion like I always do.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out ways to like blow up breaks.
Blow them
Well,
up.
one, I made a break maker, which is sick. I could talk about that a little bit if you can probably show it. Shout out EPROM. He did it first, but I
yeah.
translated it into bitwig.
Oh.
Is it that like scrolling thing where it's triggering different
Yeah, it's like
breaks?
it's just triggering it all
a
over
bunch
the
of
place.
clips randomly.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good
It's just making
techniques.
glitches.
Yeah, it's super sick.
It's a good technique.
And you can make it as squirrely or as tame as you want, which is really nice. But I was trying to blow them up, so I was like experimenting with putting reverb before heavy distortion into compression into like a transient shaper. So I have like the compressor kind of letting a little more glue come back after the clipper, and then the transient kind of sharpens all those back out, and then I clip it again. I was just kind of like screwing around. But I came up with some pretty fun just textures. Like nothing was really usable unless I like stretched it out and then broke it up into little bits, and then it was just fun little sounds.
That's
But-
a lesson you can learn. If anything, if you make a sound and you don't really love the sound, it's
Oh, yeah.
always going to sound good if you just stretch that baby out and then break it some more.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds good.
And now I have like I did that on that drum and bass track, and it already like resulted in like a weird pad, and
Get a pad out of it.
Added some little like metallic-y percussive things that I put in the background. Like
Yeah, you could use
Yeah.
it for like a top end on a bass sound.
yeah, you could
or,
loop it a
like,
bunch.
Yeah, any kind of random thing could be used for that.
Hey
sort of
yo, what's up? V15 teen Alk 3 years.
Visual keys, playa.
Oh,
My God.
Subs
What's
up.
the difference?
Can't read.
What's the difference between stretching in Bitwig versus
Okay.
Ableton? What options do you have in Bitwig?
oh yeah.
So many fun ones. There's like
Yeah, there's like way more, right? In Bitwig.
excuse me.
I think they're just different for the most
Yeah,
part.
they're different. Excuse me.
It's like that artist name Austin
There's
was
a little bit of
telling us
COVID in
about
there. Yeah. No, it's the radio voice.
Glock.
Well, hello, Visual Keys. Figuring out. Good question to ask. LOL. That's a good question. We'll get to that right away. Stretching in Bitwig. Why don't we just
Oh, show don't tell.
dive right in?
Yeah, this makes it interesting.
Hey, we're in Bitwig, ladies and gentlemen.
That's a good question. Also, if you have time, I'm super interested to see how you can use audio to trigger stuff in Bitwig, because that's been like one of my favorite techniques now. I do it with like MIDI triggering in Ableton, and like I have some weird like third-party Max for Live device where I can take like an audio input, I can isolate it by like EQ band if I put like an EQ8 before it, but like I use audio to trigger so much stuff these days, and like I feel like that's like a super helpful thing. I also feel like it's not an intuitive practice to like necessarily find in a DAW in the digital form, whereas like synthesizers kind of do that really easily, and like old school samplers do that as well. But
What do
Let
you
me-
mean by trigger? Trigger like a thing?
Where it
like
can,
a
like-
sample?
where it can trigger like kind of anything, where it can set like MIDI CC data, or kind of where it can. I'm interested in this first, but yeah. So there's a Max for Live patch that I use, for example. So let's say I just put it on a drum loop. I can put the EQ before it, and then anything that passes that threshold of volume can then send and trigger a receive track with this Max for Live device, and then that'll be used to trigger like a certain like CC notation value, and then I can assign that to do different things, whether it be play a note or like do some type of weird like automation. It's usually play a note. I use a lot of 128s in Ableton, so then we can get deeper into that, but like I'm real interested in that because I know that like on like my old Moog, for example, where it's just in the analog realm, it's really common to take like an impulse response, like you hit a key or something, and then like you can send that voltage to do something else, and that's not necessarily super true in a lot of DAWs, especially on computers. You know, like that's kind of harder to do on computers.
Is it baby making time?
yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, you can definitely do that in Bitwig.
Yeah, I can only do it in Ableton with
I don't know. I don't know the process quick enough to be able to be like, here's how you do it real quick. It would probably take me like half an hour to figure it
But
out.
if you want, we can think about that for like the next episode. And
Totally,
then,
we
and,
can show
and
you.
then we can put together some stuff and we can talk about it the whole episode.
That'd be interesting. I could send
Yeah,
you guys
I'd
like
be
some
super
projects
down.
too, because like I
Yeah,
find
yeah.
that trick. Because an example is, and like what's super cool about that is like we were talking about Jay Dilla earlier on the APC or like the original APC. That's one of the things that is cool is like you hit a pad and then that pad can like trigger like a bunch of different sounds or like note off data and everything. And that shit is sick. It's like a super good creative tool. I'm a big
Right, no, for
I'm
sure.
a big fan of that. And like music production, I feel like it's not utilized enough.
Right, that's a unique workflow that I don't think is rare. Like I feel like a lot of people do shit like that where they
Hip hop producers,
Yeah,
bro,
like
using
hip-hop
APCs.
Right,
well,
that's
sure,
where-
for sure, but
yeah.
those I feel like that
Aren't they
technique
just using
is,
a pad to trigger?
Yeah, but when they
They're
hit
not
that
using
pad,
the audio to trigger.
yeah,
Well,
but it's the same workflow from
it's the
a
same
hardware
workflow.
perspective.
It's using something to trigger, so you can.
Yeah, like while triggering, while triggering the
Interesting.
the pad's main sound, like the kick or whatever, it's also triggering all those other things. So
Right.
then you could take that and be like, every time the kick plays, I want it to trigger this because it sounds like those old MPCs, and shit like that.
That's really what it's stolen from. It's just from like those old MPCs, and then like I like it quite a bit. But stretching.
But stretching,
Butt stretching.
ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna do some butt stretching tonight.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Getting twiggered.
Just first, let's slow
Damn,
it
that's a
down.
perfect blue.
Always
What?
flavor.
Oh.
Oh.
All right, AT.
Or Poon.
So, here,
It's an interesting correlation.
let's scale it down one more time. There you go.
This is just tempo right now.
Right, and we're on repitch.
Those are
So I
all
bring
the,
down this.
the
Yeah,
modes.
these are all the modes.
Ooh, that's cool. They have
Wow.
spectral ones.
So I'll go over them. You have stretch and stretch HD, which is granular stretching, and HD is multiband, so it's like slightly better.
Does it give you different controls, or is it just like?
Oh, HD is multiband?
Hmm. It doesn't give you any more different.
It's just doing the
Alright.
stretching on
Cool.
multiple bands, which therefore takes up more CPU. I get it.
And you have a grain size, so you can make it all nice and stuttery. And then you can also
That sounds sick.
have it hit on 2 different transient
Oh,
modes.
yeah.
Always 400.
One is like more harsh than the other. Like this one's more forgiving. Why does it keep going? Why is it not looping just this? And when you click on this, now we get into the transient mode like Ableton has. Where it's just playing.
Transient mode's my
Which-
favorite mode in Ableton.
The only, me
Yeah.
too,
That's
but
the thing we're missing here for
is yeah, you don't have the little slider.
so
Oh,
nice.
you can't control the length
No.
of it?
No.
Oh,
it's
then
so
why
nice to be
even?
able to tighten up like fucking
Yeah.
hats and shit.
Right?
Right,
You gotta
just
find
have
other
harsh
ways.
and medium.
You want to know which one I wish that they had? I wish they had one from the start, because like I find oftentimes I'm like taking the attack time off of hi hats. You know, with like a fade or something. It'd be
Yeah.
super nice if they had one that was reverse,
A transient
Right?
shoulder.
Totally.
Yeah.
like a transient reverse kind of.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
where it starts from the, because you know how you can trigger it where it just like plays the clip through.
Right.
I
But
guess it
having-
wouldn't even be the same thing, but
I mean, it could
something like
work.
that
It
would
would
be
just
cool.
introduce some late latency, so it can hop in front of the.
dude, speaking of latency, do you guys do that? Like track delays and everything. I use that shit all fucking time. Like,
Yeah.
I'm,
Oh, track delays? Yeah.
yeah,
I love
like
them
dude,
so
that's
much.
where it's at, man. Once I figured that out,
Right.
shout out John Casey on that one. Like once I
Mm.
figured that out, I was just like, damn, this is so dope.
Right?
Well, if we continue
What,
here,
just being able to line things up?
Not
That
even
way.
not
You're just
even line
pushing
them
them
up,
around.
but like, dude, just literally just introducing track delay to individual elements, especially with percussion, and like it just gives that like swing.
Hi hats.
There's-
Yeah.
Oh
Right.
yeah, on drums, it's
I
nice.
just drag shit around.
Yeah.
I'm manual.
Again,
Or-
I'm a
I go
manual
back and
boy.
forth. Yeah.
Or in Bitwig,
That's what I'm
you
feeling.
have a time shift tool.
that's cool. You can do
You
the
can go
same
backwards too.
Yeah,
Without
sick. And you can go
adding
samples.
in latency.
or
You can add in
You're
ne-
adding in latency.
you can add
yeah,
in
sure.
negative latency on the track delay in Ableton as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple
Right.
ways to do it. You
But can you do it mid-chain?
Right. Or
Yes.
beginning of chain.
not at
No.
the track level. Not at the track level.
Right. That's what's cool about this thing.
Okay.
This fucking thing. dude.
Yeah. Take that.
Take it.
Take
Ableton
that,
boy.
I thought we were
Ableton.
chatting. I didn't know we were. I thought,
I know.
No, this is
This
a
is what I
war,
deal with
baby.
alone. So I'm
Okay.
glad I at least have an Ableton partner because they're just like, yo, Bitwig.
So-
And I'm like, oh, God.
If we continue here
Oh, she
on our stretch modes.
with the 5 months.
dicks.
Oh shit. Subby sub. Thanks for that resub there, McDubs.
Oh, McDubs.
They grow up so fast. They do indeed, my friend. We have slice mode. Slices audio into chunks
Let me hear it.
using various methods. So
Oh, Chuck stretch it.
You can have-
into checks.
this one gives you those other modes, like the transient mode in Ableton, where you can go 16ths, eighths, and stuff like that.
Oh, this is the good one. This is one that I like.
But
Does it
also-
focus on the
but it-
transient or is it grid dependent? It's only eighth
it's-
notes. It can't just like isolate the transient.
no,
It's
it
still
can't.
grain stretching.
Right.
Oh, that's the granular.
Yeah, you gotta change the tail.
Always use granular.
And then you change the tail to none. And that's how you get this. But That's not even the coolest part.
Future bass.
You can go to onsets, and then you have formant. So you can change your whole thing.
That one's sick. That's good.
So now every time it granulizes,
This is good.
pitched up.
Computer noises are happening. Thank you.
For real, dude. That's dope.
It's so
This
sick,
is,
right?
this is all you're ever looking for, folks.
This is the most fun thing to do for me. I just sit here and
And
fuck with the slice.
and that's how you make an Ivy Lab track.
right.
Damn, I was at Red Rocks a couple weeks ago for Ganja White Night.
Oh, that's
and then
right.
some of the European cats had a hard time getting visas. Ivy Lab's European too, but anyway, Casper wasn't able to make it.
Aw.
It wasn't Casper, it might have been somebody else, but like a bunch of those European cats weren't able to make
Fuck,
it, and
damn.
Ivy Lab got substituted for the second day as like the headliner. They weren't even on the bill,
Hell yeah,
Okay.
they did.
and those.
yeah.
It wasn't both of them. It was just the bigger,
Right,
like,
right.
black
But he
dude.
slayed. I think I saw. That's what I saw. Instagram fucking post of. I was wondering why he was alone on the Red Rock stage.
I
Yeah,
think I
right?
think he
His
just
other-
happened to like be in the United States. This happened like the day before. It was one of those ones where it happened last minute.
Right.
That's
They're
a-
already on tour.
That's a grab.
Yeah,
though.
so I think they like got him. Like,
Who can we
mid-tour.
get? Well, we could try and get Ivy Lab. Try. Let's try.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's give him money.
I don't think they had
Yeah.
to try that hard.
Right,
It's just
right.
like,
He's like,
do you want to
yeah.
play? Do you want to play the 9 p.m. slot at Red Rocks? Like I felt like it wasn't.
Right.
Yeah, who
I don't
turns
think
that
that-
down,
Here's a
right?
bunch of money and a dream come true again.
Yeah, I bet they didn't do much convincing.
I've got my stick.
It was sick
Yeah.
though. He was like that. He's just like, I hear y'all like dubstep.
Yeah, he's
Just like,
dude, Ivy Lab.
this is
Shout out
not
Ivy
it.
Lab.
This is not it.
Is
he
that
said
what he
that.
said?
I swear to God, he said that.
He's like, so
No
I'm
way.
not
you're gonna
doing
have
that.
to deal with what this fuck this is. Did people
harder.
go off?
It's Red Rocks. Like, it's not really like a club environment. So even like during Ganja White Night, I wouldn't say people were going off. Like it.
Right, it's like
I
a big party.
I thought it was really dope. And it was also
Hell yeah.
November. It was a little chilly for sure. It wasn't like
Oh, yeah.
summertime Red Rocks. Like,
Right.
but I haven't seen Ivy Lab, and I was like really hyped on that. Like, I was
Hell
super
yeah.
excited about that addition to the bill. And like, yeah,
Fuck yeah.
let's shout out Ivy Lab.
Shout out
Ivy
It's
Lab
not a
is-
bad thing to try to sound like them. So if that's the stretching technique, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one on the list is
Oh, there's more?
another one of my favorites. It's called
Jesus.
cyclic. It's also granular, but the formant, it's like a simpler mode of slice. I don't know. I like it more than slice. So let's reset this parameter. So that's small grain size. Let's go medium. So this is similar to like the formant in Ableton,
Okay.
right? One that has the jitter slider.
No. Oh, no. Tones and one other mode, texture.
Texture, that's what I'm thinking of.
And texture's a stereo thing in that
Yeah, not
one,
tones.
right?
So
What's
this
up?
is like the way. Oh,
Would you say?
No, you're good. You're good. I was asking a texture in the one you were talking about, the format, not the.
No, we're talking about he was like the grain size on it.
The
on
stretching
texture.
style.
Oh,
in
okay,
Ableton.
okay. There's the other one that does it too. There's 2 grain and texture ones in Ableton. One's called.
yeah. There's texture. Then
Yeah.
there's tone or whatever he.
Tones.
When you said format, I was just
Yeah, and then Complex Pro has the format on it.
Yeah.
Complex Pro. Complex Pro's not a grain one though.
Mm-mm.
It's okay. I don't remember right now. It's not important.
Yeah.
It was just a question.
This says retro stretching, but the way I think of it is like slice. You when you turn down the formant and you have it on onsets, not on that on granular.
That's like reverse.
Right. The ping pong is weird. I don't really know.
I like the ping pong.
I think it does just sling the grain back at you. Or
Right.
right. But it's like you can go from how fast or slow this formant affects the grain repetition. In cyclic, it seems like you can almost get a finer tooth comb on that. and get it like really, really accentuated that kind of stuttery effect.
It's a pretty sick lick, dude.
I don't know, bro. I don't really think these like beat Ableton all that much.
Just wait, we're not even there yet. We're not even to the best one.
Honestly,
I
yeah, I'm kind of with
honestly-
you. It just sounds the same to me.
No, I honestly don't think they do beat Abletons. I think they're just different.
they're just different
Yeah.
flavors.
Yeah, they
different
just are
flavors.
different.
Yeah,
That's fair.
for sure. But I definitely like Elastic Pro over anything that Ableton has.
Oh, it's
Okay.
spelled all douchey too. Spelled all.
Elastic.
Yeah.
There's a good plugin.
Elastic.
Elastic Pitch is a really good plugin you can use.
So it's a
For
transient.
stretching.
What's cool about it is it preserves transients.
Mm.
So you can pitch down hi-hats and all that kind of stuff and kick drums, and it's going to keep the punch. Which is super sick. It's not going to let it just like flap away.
Right.
Which is super dope. And you have formant. And you have a resolution, which can definitely affect the sound, which is super fun. But we can... It's like its own...
Just
a
pitch
little
it down.
low.
When you do that shit to bass sounds, they sound so sick.
Oh, it's the
Oh, I'm
best.
sure.
Here.
They sound
Yeah,
really
throw,
nice.
throw a basser boy.
Yeah,
in
let
there.
me hear something. Like I don't know if the loop's doing it for me.
Let's see if we can make something quick. Let's do this. Let's use a fun sound, huh, folks?
Yeah.
What I like about Bitwig is I love that they kept. Again, you guys can say this is how I don't use Bitwig. I love the workflow of Ableton, and I love that they were like down to use the reimagined workflow because like Logic and Pro Tools and everything, that like old workflow acting like it's like a musical console or something, and then having to use like auxiliary send tracks and like return tracks and all that stuff just to add like a group send. It's just that's old school. Like people don't work on consoles anymore. Like I like that bottom screen chain stuff. Like I'm about chains. About chains.
About that bling.
All about them chains.
About chains,
All right.
boy.
I just like think the workflow is better. Like I think that's like. So I don't think it's even copying. I think they just like understood the workflow and did their thing on it,
Right.
which
yeah.
is just like I think that's the workflow. I think
Yeah, totally.
It seems like it makes it sound shittier, but
I don't think it sounds shitty.
Well,
It
I
just sounds
love
pitched
that
down.
sound.
well, I mean, it kind of does sound shittier.
Ooh.
Yeah,
That's some
dude.
bite.
Oh.
Ooh, that's a nice little guy.
And the bass.
It's just
Yeah.
it's the sickest thing because you can go and make a big wub section, and then you can go in and for each individual wub,
Right. You
just
can
kind of like dial that here and there, and it's not pitched at all. It's just a formant thing, so it stays in key, but it still sounds like it's kind of doing a little bit of different flavors on each one.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
worthwhile
like
to
what
talk.
he's doing there.
The different flavors, and especially if you like can exponentially grow it pretty quickly. I see the value, which is, dude, that's the biggest thing that like I think a lot of like early. Yup.
you know what I'm
That's
talking about?
yeah. Do it across all of them, all the front parts of each of those. Let me hear that shit. But it's just, I think that's like a helpful tidbit for people to like
Or do like a
understand.
bum, bum, bum.
And if somebody is watching this, you guys said you had like listeners, and if nobody's watching it and like somebody watches it in the future where it's just like, I feel like this is the shit that people need to know, where it's just like minutely change things on kind of a micro level as opposed to like thinking of everything on like such a big scale where it's like a new synthesizer. It's just like the movement you can get and like those little changes in detail that you can get. Like I wish I would have like known that when I was starting. You know what I mean? Like first of all, paying attention to tone, and then just like these little fucking changes, like ways to make these little changes. It's just like that's everything to me.
Dude, right? Yeah. And it creates such a natural feel. Like that's something we've talked about a bunch of, like just making hi-hat patterns more interesting is like change the pitch a little bit, stretch one, do like whatever you can to make the tone just like a little different and not enough where you'd be like, oh, that's like a whole new hat, which I guess you could do. It could sound cool, but
Yeah.
yeah,
or
those
do
like
you remember?
micro details are sick.
Part of my interruption. Yeah.
No, you're good, man.
Do you remember that one time where it's just like we came on? I think that was one of the first podcasts. I don't even know if that was broadcast. Where it's just like we turned a city recording into like hi hats that are like grooved to the drum sample or something. It's
I
just
don't remember that. We did that on the podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick. That must have been at the old house, huh?
Yeah, for sure. That was
Yeah.
like probably the first time I was on, and then
That's cool.
it was like something similar though, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a terrible break. There's
It's
your
not
whoops.
bad though, you know what I mean?
Whoop,
Like it's just like,
whoop,
dude, like it is what it is. It's showing people like the, yup.
Yeah, so
That sound in particular, when you can get this from just stretching.
I know, right?
Yes, exactly. Like you don't need. It's not even at the synth level. Like so many
no,
of these
it's
changes.
past it.
Like
It's way past the synth
and it's
level.
not at the effect level
No.
either, because you can make stuff muddy with effects. It's just like find ways that you can like
Right.
minutely
Plus-
change things.
My favorite part about audio is like now, like I get this weird one that I can like tune up all high and it's just a tail to something, but now I can like turn it into its own, fucking thing.
Cowbell.
Dude, I
And you
fucking
get
love
all the
cowbells.
clarity and
Fucking
all the
bitwig
shit
nerds.
because you can weed out all the sounds in between. The audio is king.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super fun.
Audio is king, folks. So those are some fun stretchy modes. There's all these other Spectra ones, but they're just kind of like different versions of Pro. Pro is just the badass one where you have the formant, and you can even turn up the res.
I like the ping pong selector. I do
Slow
like
it
that
down.
ping pong stuff.
Yeah,
yeah, I will usually just be either repitching or using the
Yeah.
Elastic Pro to get the little different
yeah.
things
'cause
out of the
Yeah.
formant.
There's been
Interesting.
2 songs where I go to make a second drop and I just duplicate the first drop and then elastic pitch the main bass sound, and I'm like, oh, cool, it's done.
It sounds very different.
That sounds so different, but
But
it's like
also
it's
the
like a
same
brother.
somehow.
Yeah, it's like a brother to the original sound. All I had to do was flatten it down.
Dude,
Fucking great.
sick.
And what's great is like not enough pros, in my opinion, use bitwig yet. So like these kind of formant sounds and stuff are like the Wild West.
I know,
Like,
right? They're kind
nobody's
of just
hearing these.
untapped.
Yeah, and you can kind of just like go make weird shit
Yeah.
that I've never heard before, and that gets me super stoked.
Right.
I love that. Super fun, folks.
Oh, Bitwig. One day, dude. One day. I'm gonna give it a shot. But it's gonna be at least another year.
I'm hoping that they just like
One
talk about it enough
day.
where I'm able to just like work on songs with them.
I know, right?
Like I
yeah.
don't necessarily need to switch, but
Yeah.
like dude, no hate. Like it's all cool shit. No hate. It's all cool shit.
Totally.
Sounds like hate.
No way. Definitely not. Definitely not.
On this
it actually kind of
podcast-
makes it easy. So we were trying to collab on that one project, and it was actually kind of nice to not worry about like just be able to send somebody like stems. It's just like, all right, I just got to be able to make sure that I can bounce it the fuck out.
Yeah.
I almost feel like it's easier, anyways. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. I hate collabing with a lot of people, especially when people don't care about making the project easy to collaborate on. Like I have like a lot of beef if somebody's just like they just don't freeze everything, or like they're using weird plugins and they send it to you. It's just like, dude, get the fuck out of here with
Yeah,
that.
it's
it's
all
like-
like messy.
Yeah, it's like, why would I have like 15 of these old 32-bit style plugins?
And then like also it's just like it's just inconsiderate. It's like almost rude. You know what I mean? Like I spent a lot of effort on that last one that we were working on, where it's just like it's like simple tracks, but it's just like okay, even on the bounce, it's just audio files, but it's just like I want them to be the audio files that I'm listening to. I'm using like a weird gain structure, so it's just like okay, when they put it in, it's like I wasn't side chaining or doing anything because again, I wanted it to be easy to
Right.
work on. But it's just
And in
I
that-
spent time like making it where it's just like you don't have to deal with it.
Right. And in our case, luckily, like it's still pretty infantile, so there's no sidechain to worry about or structure.
Yeah, that
We're
was
just sharing a palette of sounds
Right. Exactly.
back and forth.
I think that's an important skill to learn, man. Like how to, like if you do collaborate a lot, I don't collaborate a whole bunch, but like I think it's like worthwhile to figure out how to make the projects easy to work on.
100%. Oh yeah.
Sidechain is definitely one of the. I know it was infantile, and then I wanted it to be that way. It's just because then when you get people specific chaining, it's just like
Right.
It's just like you're kind of being a dick doing that a little bit.
And it's kind of like, in my opinion, it's like rushing the track. It's like, already got the sidechain in there, dude. It's like, what do you think, we're going to finish this today?
Yeah.
Bro, pump the brakes. Like, let's wait till something sings. Then when something sings, then we can get together and write it with the sidechain in there. And then it's in there. Then we can worry about it.
Yeah, mashing together other people's creative process is hard to do.
It is.
It's just like, it's a complicated thing to figure out. I think it just is a lot of surrendering to just, when I have a thing that I can do, I will try and do the thing, you know? And like when we were working on that track, we just said like, all right, you're going to make one of these, and then he'll pass it over to Victor, and then Victor passes it to me, and then we just are making noises basically at this point.
We'll see if it even ends up
know?
good, because that's another thing too, where it's just, I know you all know this, I know this, but again, it's a music podcast where it's just like, not every song's even meant to be good.
Right.
You know, make shitty music too. Just
To practice.
Get a couple no's.
I think at the beginning, this is
Get those notes.
Get those no's.
Those notes.
not a couple, bro. Collecting them. Not a couple. I think at the beginning, though, I don't want to mislead that, where it's just like, how do you guys feel? Because at the beginning, I feel like it was worthwhile for sure to like finish fucking songs, learn how to finish them.
totally.
I held on
yeah.
too long though, where it's just like I'd finish everything, and it's just like, okay, now
You got like used to the habit and you couldn't break it. To, like,
and then it's just like I'd
expand
spend like a lot of
again.
effort like finishing like shitty music.
Right.
And not that it would take like a long time or I'd spend months doing it, but like I would just like work on songs where it's just like a weekend, where it's a full fucking weekend. It's just like I'm halfway through and it's just like I know this song sucks.
yeah,
Like, I gotta.
Well, it's also, that's another muscle you have to work on, is
Definitely.
knowing when it's going to be shit or not.
yeah.
You know, that's another, like, that's the muscle feel like I've been working on the most, is just like knowing when something's good or bad. Like the moment I throw it on the wall, I'm like, oh no, that's, we don't need to even go down that road. There's nothing there. The vibe isn't in there. So I can usually work on a track, and within a couple hours, it's working for me, just because I know what to throw at it once I start throwing the first couple things, just because I've been practicing, like, not finishing the track until it's good, basically. And now it seems to be working.
Which is a good muscle to have,
in my
though.
favor, yeah.
I think it's important at the beginning ones where it's just like you should finish songs that suck, just because like every song's gonna suck when you first start out.
Right. And you got to finish
And you
them.
have to finish.
Yeah.
Be honest with yourself about it, you know, like I'm like
Yes.
very honest, where it's just like, dude, this shit fucking, I compare that shit to like who I like, you know, like I want like the people that, it's the music I like, so I want it to live up to that, but it's just, yeah, just being honest with yourself. But that's why, anyway, so going along with what you said, where it's just like, even if it's whack, that's why I started like recently, maybe as recently as like a month ago, I just write like one drop now, and then I send it to all the boys, and then it's just like, all right, at the end of that, just like,
Yeah, like, is this drop worth like building out? Like, is the vibe good just now? Because if not, like, fuck it, yeah, just move on.
yeah, and like I've been sending the boys and like getting good feedback and like sending it to people, and then like just you can tell which ones people respond to, and like
Totally.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know if I can necessarily do that.
Just build one drop.
Well, like a couple of just one drops. Like, I kind of do that to a certain extent, but most of the time now I'll like work on something, and I'll just keep working on it till it is worth working on.
Exactly what I was thinking in my head was,
Right.
I will sit in the making of the sounds and the ideas and stuff until something is cool enough that I'm like, okay, I can make a song out of that.
Right.
That now I can start moving on.
So
and
that
I'll
way-
delete a bunch of shit in the meantime. Like, I will have gone through just mass amounts of ridiculousness before I found something that was cool.
But now because of that, it's very rare that you go to your open recent and there's anything in there that's not worth working on. Because every project has been massaged down to the thing that's worth working on.
Yeah.
So there's no just like, what is this project? And you're like, oh no, that's a shitty project. Why am I here? you know, like everything is going to be worth it by that point.
Which is a bummer though when you get like fucking 12 of those bitches. And
I know I have like 7 of them right now.
Like,
Caleb's got a little
And
stack.
they're all
dude,
sick,
because like I
but
have
I'm
the
like,
I have the same problem.
I need to finish these bad boys.
Dude,
Yeah,
but
I
that's
got
that's
quite a few
that's what
too,
I
yeah.
mean. Like especially, I like it that it's not like the time investment necessarily, because just like even to come up with a drop, and like you said, it is worth working on. But it's just I also like downtime away from the songs too. You know, like I feel like it's very. Because what I'm finding, and again, this is a new process for me. I've only been doing it for like a month, so I can't say it with any like solidified justification on anything. But I'm finding that with these ones, like all these like one drop songs that I'm working on, it's just like, dude, the best noises aren't even in the song yet. They're off to the right, you know, where it's just like it starts off as this idea, like,
Yeah, I know.
which
Right.
is just like super sweet.
Yeah.
So I'm figuring
Yeah,
out how I'm
pretty
gonna
fun.
navigate it, but like I have been having fun where it's just like I'm making music for a long time, man. I've been making music on the computer for like over 10 years, like probably like 6 years for sure, like seriously as fuck, honestly, like trying hard. And
Please don't say this on this program. Dropping fuck bombs on my show.
on my podcast,
Sorry, guys. Anyways,
but so
Artists.
I'm navigating. It's just been something that's like kind of been inspiring to me because again, I'm just like it's almost like always like a creative dump, which I miss the creative dump. I'm down
The
for
creative
the
dump is
tedious
good.
work, but
Yeah.
like I really enjoy the early morning creative dump because my workflow is this could be the early morning creative
Right
dump.
after your coffee.
Right
and
when
your
I
cigarette.
right after my coffee and cigarette.
y'all know.
But for real, you
Y'all
guys work.
dumb.
I work on music early in the morning, like on the weekends. I'm excited. It's like 6 a.m. Like wake up,
hell
like
yeah.
straight up.
You're
go get
like
caught,
sitting backwards on the toilet.
You and me both.
I'm,
The
yeah,
laptop's up top.
like
Yeah.
some straight South Park
Do a
shit.
creative
yeah,
dump.
yeah. Was it like Butters that did that? He's like, oh, I thought everyone sits like this, huh? So you get your action
Your dad
figure and
doesn't own
candy bar.
Twitch. Quit lying.
Oh, was someone talking shit?
Oh, look.
Weirdly, John is not restraint right now.
Right. He's in his
His
Oh,
other profile.
what's that
oh, he's
called?
incognito.
what's that called? His
His original alias.
Where you
no,
guys
his
reading
Smurf account.
stuff?
He's from his Smurf
A
account.
Smurf account? I've never
Yeah,
heard
it's a
that.
Smurf account.
Oh, it's his Smurf. Yeah,
Throwaway account,
it's
maybe.
his Twitch Smurf.
Yeah, it's for Twitch gamers when they're pros. They have, or when you're really good and you're ranked really high,
Oh, yeah.
but you want to play with your buddies who aren't ranked that high, or
Go
you
to the
just want
Smurf.
to play and not have your rank fall because you're not trying that hard. Yeah, so you make a second account. That account's called a Smurf account.
You're smurfing.
Smurfing.
Right.
He
John
says he misses you.
I'm so
Aw.
confused right now.
About what?
Smurfs.
John smurfing.
Are
Right
the accounts like
He's
We
smurfing.
got Smurf.
Just
Step.
don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Hey, John.
He's in here on the DL.
Hey, buddy. Okay, so at what point do you think is a good point to start say like, oh fuck it, I don't need to finish every track I make? Like, of course, there's not going to be a specific like at the 3-year mark you're good, just go or whatever the fuck. But like, what do you think? Any thoughts on it?
I never finished every track I make.
Yeah.
Yeah, it still didn't happen for me.
Ooh, but you know, like the answer to the question, like it is important to be able to like. I think once you like have a clear understanding of call and response, when you have a clear understanding of how to exponentially grow a song, other than like 16 bar segments, where let's say it's like 16 bar intro, 16 bar drop, 16 bar bridge,
Sure.
16 bar drop, 16 bar outro. I think when you understand how to play with song form, and then
yeah.
when you understand call and response, and then when you can really like play with those structures to kind of like grow them in different ways and like different song organizational like layouts that you can play with, then
Yeah.
maybe, because like I do feel like all that shit is like very worthwhile to learn, like because
Right.
you know how when I'm laying out songs, like a lot of the times now it's almost not even like the music sound, like dude, I got like so many different it's like playing Tetris. I got so many stored in my head of just like, oh, lay this song out this way, lay this song out this way, lay this song out this way, and like,
Right. Yeah.
5D, bruh. Playing
5D
5D
bass.
chess, dude.
dude,
5D
if I know all the
5D
noises,
bass chess.
That's right.
let's say if I know all the noises, I made them and it's stemmed down, like
Chase.
just drums, everything sidechain perfectly. Let's imagine where everything's mixed perfectly, no matter where I put it. It's just drum track, bass track, lead track, effects.
Right.
And if I had all of those and they just sound perfect, like, dude, I can lay that song out without even like playing it,
Sure.
like just by looking at it.
Sure.
Totally
In
right.
like in like 20 different ways.
Right.
Yeah.
I like your answer to that question in a broad sense. I agree with you. Basically, 100%. Like you need to know all those things to know when a track is like not worth in terms of being confident with that choice. On a song-to-song basis, personally, I feel like for me, there's just like a moment, like hour 6 or maybe even earlier into a track, it'll just kind of flip, and I'm like, oh, this is lame. Like everything here, like just nothing's gonna work.
Right.
I can't save it. Like sometimes you'll be like, delete everything but the drums, and you can kind of keep the drums and maybe remix them and push them through some distortion, and maybe they're new again and fun. But a lot of times it'll just click in my brain. I'm like, oh no, yeah, we should just delete this project.
I just made a whack track.
Yeah, it just needs to go away. It
Yeah.
just doesn't need to
Yeah.
exist.
6 hours in,
Which
isn't that
wins
deep either.
later.
That's
No,
a good time
and
to call it.
I still count it as a bunch
Yeah.
of practice. Like I still look at it as good, but it just doesn't need to continue.
Yep.
Just stop wasting time. Just
I don't disagree.
Make another one.
Yeah.
You guys don't sample yourselves either. Like, dude, I go into those projects and I sample them. Like,
Nope.
I
Oh,
chop
I
them up.
love doing that. I
Yeah,
love doing that so much.
I chop them up.
I'm way too excited to open the new project.
Not that I'm not excited for that, but like Ableton makes it pretty easy too. Like, especially if you do a lot of consolidating and freezing, which I do, it just saves it to a samples folder. You just
Yeah,
go
but-
through, down arrow, boom. These
Yeah,
ones are
but
good.
I don't want
throw
to
'em in.
hear any of those sounds. I don't want to hear them.
Yeah,
I want to
again-
make a fresh new palette.
These are the people that switch to bitwig.
Yeah. so I can make an entire palette every song.
Boo. Nah, it's fine.
It's just like I love making 16
Just like-
note hi-hats over and over again.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's the
It's so
Mr.
much fun,
Bill,
dude.
the Mr. Bill thing where he's like, I feel better about myself if I do, like, build it all myself and blah blah blah. But like, is it really that good if I can just throw a splice sample in there and it just is good?
Yeah, yeah. He was talking about that with like snares on one of
And
his
to that I
podcasts.
say, yes, it's better, Bill.
Yes, it is
Yes.
better.
It's better when you make it yourself.
I agree.
You see,
You're way cooler.
dude, I've had thoughts about this too, where it's just like, dude, much love to everybody that is. I accepted I am not a producer's producer. You know what I mean? Like, I am not.
Oh, that's a good point.
Like,
yeah.
I know I am not a producer's producer. Like, you don't, bro, I'm not. Like, I do my fucking thing, and like, I'm not a producer's producer. Like, I'm not gonna get into like, oh, I fucking stacked 50 phasers on this fucking sine wave and then like fucking re-enveloped it through this other sine wave that's operating at 550 hertz. What's the other A that you can tune it to instead of 440?
880
Oh, I get the
octave up.
no, not the other one, but you know, like what the
440.
Oh,
432.
432.
432.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like, yeah, it's just like
In harmony with the universe.
Well, that's not even producer's producer. That's just
That's just gay.
nerd.
that's just gay.
Which, nothing wrong with being a nerd. Like I'm a nerd in my own right, but I'd say producer's producer, like is more. It's more just the quality.
Yeah.
Like
You're totally right.
Noisia is the producer's producer, and they'll do some nerdy things, but they're not like this Reese was made with only like the finest sine waves or like.
I think
whatever.
they're kind of like
They
that.
kind
though.
of
I
are.
think you're kind of like. I think that. And dude, no
But
hate.
it's less
you know, like
so.
E-Prom,
Yeah.
G Jones, Noisia, mad love for those cats. But like, I'm
Yeah.
very much aware that like I'm not. I don't make music.
I think
that
you're
way.
holding the
Yeah.
producer's producer on a higher pedestal than it actually is. Not every producer is an AU5. You know, he is like producer's producer, where he's like, I recoded Serum. Why? Why did you do that? Why did
Yeah, take that AU5.
unnecessary? I mean, sure, if it's fun, whatever. But it's like Jesus Christ.
So I'm a fan of it. You know, like straight up, G Jones and E-Prom are some of my favorite. But it's just like
I mean,
don't
those
think
guys
I'm at,
especially, like, they
Yeah.
just break shit.
yeah,
That's all they
yeah.
really do.
Yeah, I feel
That's
like
kind of like
you're
what you
close
do.
to
Oh,
that.
you see, I think I just break things.
That's what you do, yeah.
Yeah.
Like what they do.
I feel like you're
You're
into
right.
it.
Maybe E-Prom and like G Jones. I don't know. I don't know enough about Noisia specifically. Like when I think of them, I think of like producers, where it's just like everything is so intentional, and like I think
Right.
I just I literally just try to be stupid.
Just
Yeah.
throw shit at the wall, see what
Yeah.
happens.
I'm
twist some
closer
knobs.
to your end.
Yeah.
Me too. But I'm obsessed with trying to make shit sound impeccably clean.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but I also think it's like what you take pride in too, because a producer, what we're talking about right now is just like we were talking about hi-hats previously, where it's just I don't feel the need to like make my hi-hats. Not that I can't like make a hi-hat, like I make snare.
Yeah, I don't make my hi-hats. Those are all samples.
It's really hard. Yeah.
I do on
Dude.
occasion make them out of white noise.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
nice.
it's a good
For
skill.
techno, I will. But for like house,
But
like,
for techno, motherfucker,
I know.
the fuck out
yeah,
of here.
'cause techno is super.
I like
fuck
doing
outta
it for
here.
like 32s or 16s, like make it kind of a shakery sound.
Yeah.
I like doing it with like the white noise trick with like an LFO.
I just isolate the
Doing
almond
the volume.
break hi-hat.
I know,
That's
right?
the only one I use ever.
Ever.
The hardest thing I've like ever
I
tried
use-
to make is like the
I have
dusty
40
hip hop
different
kicks from like
sampled
bebop
versions.
kibs. That shit is so hard to make.
Yeah, I don't.
It's fucking so hard to
I'll
like
just use
synthesize.
I'll just use a sample for that.
I know,
Or
it's
I'll
fucking-
make my kick like
it's
the
insane.
body, and I'll just layer a low pass dusty kick on top of it, so I get all the dust,
You get all the
but I
dust,
get
a
my
little high
bottom
end.
bottom end. I just always try and do it the smartest way possible, so I know by the end of the song it's going to be as clean as possible.
Yeah.
That's like, regardless of how much distortion or dustiness I'm going to add, I still want it to sound like a post-side track. I want it to just be like, just crispy as fuck, dude.
But how sick would it be to have that
That
unlocked, like
balance.
making dusty kicks?
Right, but
like
imagine
you hit
it's
it and it just fucking sounds like just sauce.
surrounded by all this clean perk that's happening.
Yeah,
So sick.
yeah.
So this brings me to an interesting question, especially with making percussion, because I treat my writing sessions, like my musical writing sessions, very differently than like when I'm making noises to prepare to write a song.
Oh, because yeah, you're on the ill methodology, the daytime, nighttime, right?
Not necessarily daytime, nighttime, but like I definitely prepare like enough noises before it even gets to writing. When I'm like writing a song, I try to just there's no noises that are even really being synthesized. It's like noises that I have that are then being like processed and manipulated, but like I can like throw in a quick operator, but like I'm not making a crazy patch during that. Do you guys split it up or do you do it in the project?
All on the fly, baby.
All on the fly?
Yeah.
Usually
a
I'll
little bit of
build
both.
Well, it's the
usually
palette.
Usually I'll build a palette, but it's
You see, that's what I mean more than and I don't mean like
We're
you're
doing
not,
what
like,
you're
jamming
doing.
out. Yeah.
but it's
It's
not
the same.
But I
Okay.
don't like separate them. I'll sit down and just see what's going to happen. And if I make a drum beat, then I make a drum beat, and then I'll usually be like, oh, I need sounds for this drum beat, and then I'll go into palette mode. Or if I already have a drum beat, then I'll go into palette mode. Or if I'm just feeling like starting with palette mode, I'll start with palette mode. But it'll seamlessly blend into me being like, oh, now I have a whole layout or whatever. You know, I don't mentally separate.
So it sounds like
sections.
that's the right. It sounds like that's the right flow. It sounds like all you guys are doing like.
Similar
Yeah.
things.
It sounds like
It's all pretty similar. We have
Yeah.
like different maybe like I'm gonna make all the sounds for the song and they will die there, most likely, in that song. But it's a separate session for the most part than my writing session.
yeah.
I will
like-
usually have like some kind of groove idea going, and then I'll have like bass sounds and little licks and like high pitch noises and effects and shit just kind of in there, and then I'll just zhoop and spread it out
yeah.
in a like afternoon or whatever.
I think that's what I mean more than anything. It's just like if I'm like mid song, let's say the song's like kind of well done. Well done. I'm making terrible like references today to like morning shits and like steak.
I know, I love it though.
And
Morning shits and
So your
steak.
mix
That's the
is a
title of
little
this
medium
episode.
rare.
Morning
and-
shits and steak.
Morning shits and steak.
Actually,
No,
really
it was
good.
it was a creative
With,
shit.
like, a
no creative dumps.
exclamation
a creative
point.
dump. It was the creative dump. But do you know what I mean? Where it's just
Yeah,
like, let's say the
creative
song, second drop, everything's laid out. Where it's just like that is no longer the time for me to be making any type of bass noise.
That's fair. That's fair.
Well-
Maybe
well-
like tweaking, like we said earlier. You tweak the kind of
Oh,
sounds.
for everything's
but-
tweaked like the whole.
But what if
Oh, I
you
thought
really
were
want to
asking.
make a bass sound?
Say it again.
What if you really want to make a bass sound? Can you make one?
Nope. It's against the
No, I
methodology,
can't. I
dude.
can't make. I
Can't
can't
do
make
it.
a bass
That's
noise.
what sounds like to me.
It is
Sounds like you're
forbidden.
tying yourself down.
I very much try to not. I try to write these songs quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if I do need to make a bass noise, I do it with like resampling and like
Okay, bro.
creative effect development of the basses that are already in it.
Okay.
It's not at the synth level.
Okay.
Yeah. When I'm making a track, it's pretty much just like freeform chaos. I'll like grab old samples or make a sound on the spot if I feel I need it. But I definitely do sit down and have sessions where I like make little sample packs for myself, you know, of like, oh, I want to make some squishy sounds today. Oh, I'm going to make some kicks. Oh, I'm going to make some like laser sounds or whatever the fuck, or some ambience. Like, I
Every-
love having sessions like that.
Every time I do
They're
that,
fun, yeah.
They're so much fun.
it
I
turns
love
into
it.
a
Those
track.
are the high sessions. I
Yeah.
get like blazed out.
Exactly,
In my fucking
yeah.
mind, like just like I can do those when I'm drunk too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like late at night.
And it's
The
like
morning set-
no pressure at all. And I
Yeah,
love that.
That's
'cause
so weird to me.
No, it's so much fun, dude.
It always ends up in a beat. Every
No,
time. Like,
you
I'll
see,
start
no,
with
I'm
something, and
perfectly
then I'm
okay
like,
with making noises.
well, but I need like a hi-hat loop. And then,
to get me going.
and
to
then,
get
then
me-
there's a hi-hat loop, and then I hit Control L,
you need some
and now it's
discipline,
looped.
Caleb.
and
You
then it
need
starts becoming a
discipline.
super loop, and then I'm like, oh, there's a riff, and then it's a track every time,
You
which
see-
is fine. And that's basically what ironed me out into this method that we do, where we build a palette. Where now I know if I start building a palette, it's just going to be a song in that session. So I might as well just commit and start making enough sounds full spectrum for a track, because
Yeah.
it's going to turn into a track. It's
Yeah.
just going to happen. I can't sit down and make kicks. I can sit down and make a kick, and now it's a track.
I
we
think
have a
making
day
kicks.
where you guys,
I
like,
agree. I'm
help
not
me
talking
make
about
kicks?
kicks. I'm talking about like.
Sure, but
I
anything.
agree with the flow.
Anything.
I agree with the flow.
I can't help it. It has to turn into a track.
Yeah.
See, my biggest thing is though also like the time allotment. Like I don't necessarily even want to start on a track. Like say I've like finished. I've been working all day on some tunes or something like that, and it gets to 9, and it's like I'm not necessarily done, but it's playing with Ableton or like playing with music. But it's just like it's not time for me to like want to dive into like another super
Sure,
loop.
but I mean,
Yeah, totally.
I'll just go into a track I need to work on, and then just start being like, that hi-hat sucks. Let's just pull in a new hi-hat, see what happens. And the next thing I know, my percussion's all new and sounding sick, and it's 12 o'clock at night. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. What's your guys' flow for like the daytime? Because I'm very much like my best hours are in the morning. I got from like 6 a.m. to about
That creative dump.
the creative dump. I got from about like 6 a.m. to maybe like noon, 2 p.m. And then after that, it's just like I'm not a late night guy. I don't stay up late, you know? Like
Which is so funny because Aaron and Ben are like totally late night guys, right?
Ben not so much, but for sure Aaron was like super late night.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
I
dude,
don't
when
know
Aaron
about
and I
that.
were synced up, it was super dope because
With your
Synced up.
periods.
Your periods.
Yeah.
it was just super neat because like I'd work on a song like all in the morning and then I'd send it to him and then he'd work on it all night and then like be
Yeah,
back,
that
like,
would be sick.
Just
that
like,
would be
it-
tight.
it-
back and
Oh,
forth,
dude,
yeah.
there was some times
be
where
nice.
we were doing good.
That's cool.
You can move quick if you have that.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I
What did homie say real fast? Unless you had something to say,
Visual
Caleb.
Keys says, hey, bruv, have you ever gone back and listened to an old song you used to listen to a lot and suddenly pick out sounds you never really noticed before?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a great feeling when that happens. You know, you get those, you
Right.
get the little gems in there.
Yeah, I'd have to say only a couple times, but I immediately remember. You know, like you hear the sound, you're like, oh, I forgot about. Oh yeah, that's right. That was
Is
that
this
shitty
still
synth.
Visual Keys talking right now?
Yeah, right.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, I'm back.
Hey, dude.
Yes and no to that question.
Right.
Like, I'll listen to an old track and I'll hear like a twinkle of an ARP, and I'm like, oh, I forgot it. That was in there. But then I kind of remember everything about it and writing it and shit like that.
You're like,
But yes and no.
I forgot
sure.
this sound. It really could use a little bit more high
Yeah,
end, actually.
exactly.
Yeah, I usually like when I read that question, it's just like I usually go back to the other ones and just like, God damn, I really didn't know how to get rid of resonant frequencies. Like,
Or wow, what is this?
Isn't he talking about just other
Negative
people's
20?
sounds or an old song?
you used to listen
listen
to a lot.
to.
Oh, so maybe
so
that's
just
your
somebody,
own track.
yeah, somebody
Oh.
else's tune.
Yes, that happens
Absolutely
all the time.
that.
Yeah.
That happened
constantly.
today with a Shades track. There's
Oh.
like this one snare that's like, it's like they flattened it down and then threw it into texture mode or whatever and opened up the jitter, and it's just like,
how
and it just
good were
hits
they when
all
they
fucking
first came
hard.
out?
Oh, dude,
How good were they when they first
Fucking
came out?
Shades. Just shout out Eprom and
Legends.
Alex Perez,
For
fucking
real.
gods
That's
among men, dude.
That's a duo of some
Titans.
That's right.
Titans. I like that.
Fucking
That's
Teen
sick.
Titans.
Yeah, I
bro.
mostly listen to old stuff that I used to listen to and think like, why was I listening to
Yeah.
this?
Like what?
Most of the time.
Like what?
Any old random thing
Like
that I used to. I don't
Beta
know.
Nectar.
I don't pay attention.
Beta
I
Nectar?
listen to new shit all the time.
Yeah, 100%. Shout out new shit.
Shout out new shit.
You want to know? So I was driving back from Albuquerque, which is where I'm from, on Thanksgiving, and I was a big fan of Panty Raid. Do you guys know who Panty Raid is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
Shout out Panty Raid.
Fuck yeah!
Shout out Glitch Mob.
Panty Raid.
Yeah.
And like their last album they released was in like 2016, and it's just electronic music's mixed differently. I'm like, I can hear flaws in it, but I love that shit. Like that. I
But it's
loved
also
it. I
those
loved
boys,
it.
like that whole era of electronic guys, they all mixed stuff differently. Like even up until like 2016 where people like
That was when the last EP came
Noisia-
out.
Yeah, like people like Noisia and Skrillex and stuff were mixing shit like super fucking clean and super loud. But there were guys still like Caspa and Panty Raid and stuff, and they were releasing shit. And it was still kind of mixed the old school raw kind of way. It's a little more edgy, which like Panty Raid, Enter the Machine, like I would not change that mix.
Bro, you
Like, you can't change that
get
mix.
it.
Yeah, you can't
get
change that
the
mix.
sauce, dude.
It's so good.
Fight me if you
Yeah.
don't think that's like one of the
Yeah.
best albums
It's
ever
so
made.
good. It's so
like,
good.
get the fuck out of here,
But and you know, it was mixed in 2012 or whatever, or 2009 or something.
dude. That I thought they did change bass music for me.
Oh, yeah.
and I thought they
Oh.
were gonna take over. But the sauce, like, dude. There's very few albums like that. Like what?
That was my life.
Dr. Dre 2001.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
how many albums
exactly.
are like every single fucking
Right,
song
exactly.
is amazing. Like they
Mimosa Flux for Life.
Ooh,
that
that was
fucking EP is so
EP,
good.
but great.
Right,
You're
right.
correct.
It's such a good EP.
You're correct.
Also such a huge shift in bass music.
Oh,
with,
dude,
like, those kind of EPs.
I wish
They're
they would have
crazy.
kept it going with the sauce. They changed, and I'm like, mad love to them. Like,
And I love their last EP. I can't remember what my favorite track off that one is, but the sauce, every single track is fire.
that's the one we were
and,
listening
like-
to. Their most recent one. What was it called? Afterglow.
Yeah, that's yeah.
That's what we were listening to on the
But
drive back.
the sauce live at Cervantes with a line of subs, like, dude, like, come on, like
Dude, the best music of all time.
pre Skrillex was a different thing, dude.
Get the
Before
money.
Skrillex was out, dude, bass music was weird.
So we don't.
It was weird. It was
so
crazy.
I could talk about that album alone for the rest of it. We don't have to, but
We're
at the
not
end,
going
can
to.
we please play one of those songs going out, because that's one of the best albums ever made. In
Dang.
my
I don't think we've ever done it before. I like that idea though.
I don't think we can.
We can't because
Ooh,
the YouTube video
sorry,
would fuck it up.
We'll just cut that part out on YouTube.
opinion. No, Panty Raid the Sauce. Everybody
I mean,
listen
we
to
could
it.
just end.
We can
Yeah,
just
we
listen
could just
outside,
do
I
it.
guess.
Go listen to
Yeah,
it.
we could just go listen to it outside
Yeah.
on a speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
My bad.
We'll just go listen to it. Everybody go listen to Panty Raid.
Panty
Go
Raid.
listen to Panty Raid.
Love you guys. That's the wrong one.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
Once again, a failure to exit the.
the time has
Dear
come.
Christ, dude.
Another episode. Oh, this was episode 33.
was
Master number
33.
33.
Can I be on episode 69?
Of course.
Oh, yeah, we'll book you. Yo, of course.
I call it.
You
Yeah.
just booked yourself, man.
I
love you
call
guys.
it.
That's going to be next year. So, yeah. Oh, wait. Remember to